Hi Eurovision Files, we are reporting from the Media Centre of Vienna 2026.
Yes, we've just come out of the first rehearsal for media, and we have already some impressions about the performances. So we're gonna talk about them and tell you our evaluation of them, maybe.
Yeah, we're going to be asking later on, we're going to be talking about with other media creators and see what they think, but this is our impression
Yes.
and also the whole atmosphere inside the arena. So first up we have Moldova.
So I've always said Moldova was my favorite. You can go back. This is not a mistake. I've always said Moldova is my favorite. It was unbelievable. This was the best Eurovision start ever. Absolutely loved it. I mean, I can't wait to see it actually live dancing. It's gonna be amazing.
So I was saying that probably this is the biggest reaction I've seen from the press, like everyone cheering up and being like super crazy. And I've been in Caria's rehearsal in 2023, and this was like elevated.
Yeah, I think it's very good use of the stage, great visuals. The energy is unbelievable. The the way the performance evolves is it's just perfect. The vocals were on point. I think it was just like the whole package. So yeah, like I'm so excited about them.
There's only one thing I didn't like when I was watching the clip they released, and when we see the second rehearsal later on, well, the jury show from the media center, we'll see it on the screen. I was not really sure about a lot of camera movement. It reminded me a lot of Croatia 2024, Baby Lasagna.
Yeah.
And that really was a downside of that performance. I don't know how it's going to be affecting this one.
But I think it's what the song actually needs as well. I think it's that energy, that movement, that vibe, that like the rush of everything. So for me, I think it's actually going to be okay. Yeah, we need to see if it's done well, because obviously that's another thing, like whether the production has actually been able to get what they wanted with it. But yeah, very, very impressed with it.
Then we have Sweden, which I think we agree was a little bit underwhelming, especially after Moldova.
Yeah, it's very dark. It reminded me a bit of Red Sebastian last year, very dark and with red beats. Not a lot of movement, so very different. I think the lasers are going to work better on screen though. What do you think?
Yes, I think so. Yeah, it's very dark and there are some lasers as well. I'm not convinced. I still think that the last part of the song is great for like a party, and when the arena is full, we're gonna be dancing.
And I think the visuals are going to be good as well at the end, like towards the end when you actually see her on screen. With the visuals are very good, I think. But the first part of it, you don't get a lot of that. It's very, very dark with some red beats. Yeah, I think they could have done a lot better with it. And like you say, coming after Moldova, it's like it's such a low point. I love the song, but yeah.
Croatia.
So I've never loved the song, and I still don't love the song. This is me just not loving that. I think it's very, very artistic. I keep thinking of, and I think it's the same for you, Tautmatias last year. I think I preferred that one.
Yeah, the staging is good.
Very different.
Yeah,
In some way very different, but at the same time, very similar vibe.
yes, yeah. And they can sing. I really like that the song is in their native language and the whole atmosphere, but still is not a top one for me.
Well, yeah, that's
The rehearsal went well and everything.
Yeah, it worked. Nothing. There were no problems there. I mean, I have to say I haven't really scored them yet after this, so I don't know if. But I think I would be probably if it's if it's not a non-qualifier, it's going to be like quite borderline actually for me. I'm sure it's probably going to qualify because of the artistic value of it.
Greece. I love Greece. I love Greece and the visuals. I'm hoping there's no AI in the visuals, but what I liked about the visuals is that the Acropolis is there. There's a lot of Greek stuff in the visuals, which really is my thing, identities, and I really like that part. It's fun, it's contemporary, has a lot of energy. It's very likable. Akilas is like the sweetest. And I see nothing wrong apart from maybe some kind of use of AI in the visuals.
Yeah, I think it's a similar vibe to Moldova. I like Moldova song better. But yeah, I mean, it's actually like, it's one of those as well that gives you a little bit of extra beats as the song keeps going. So you keep laughing and you keep finding out more stuff, and that's actually quite fun. I think it's one, like Moldova, I think it's one that kids would love as well because the visuals are very fun, colorful. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a top 3 of the night, I think.
Yeah. Portugal, which I never really liked. They can sing, and the atmosphere is what I was expecting that actually. I still think the song is too.
Yeah, it's. But you know what?
We're not talking about songs here. We're talking about the rehearsal, which I think everything went according to plan. No problems with their singing.
Yeah, I think it's the thing about it is a quiet. It's a quiet moment of the night, but you somehow expect it. Which, if I compare it with Sweden, where it's like, obviously the song is a vibe, but then it feels almost like a quiet performance for what it could have been. I'm almost like, at least Portugal it's what it is, and I was expecting it. I actually like the song. I still think it's probably going to be very, very borderline. If they pass, it's going to be like probably at the bottom of the list. I think they're going to have a hard time, but you know, for what it is, I think that they do well.
Yeah.
But yeah, the visuals and so on are like, yeah, it's it's not particularly great.
Georgia was disappointing.
Disappointing.
We have someone here pointing out that they agree with us. I think the vocals were bad. The stage, they didn't feel the stage at all. Even though there were 3 of them, it's not just one performer.
It's 3 of them, and you got. So the stage, we probably should point out that the actual main stage is not huge, but then you got a massive ramp that you can use. So the space that you could use to perform is probably even bigger than last year, I would say, because of the long ramp, and it's almost like you can fill the whole arena with visuals because the way it is actually done, it's like even under the green room you got visuals. They could have done so much more, and it feels like they don't move from where they are. The only visuals they actually really have are the ones right behind the stage. Anything else is like not particularly exciting. I think it's very underwhelming.
Yeah, I was expecting a bit more.
A lot more, yeah. I think with the choreography and so on, they could have done so much better. And also, like, you know, it's 3 of them. It's a kind of choreography that probably calls for a couple more people on stage, maybe like dancing with them, even if they are not singing.
Dancers, yeah. Maybe they missed that opportunity.
Yeah.
We have Finland.
What do we say about Finland? Winning.
I think, winners.
So not, for me, not better than Moldova, but
I got chills. During the whole performance.
I think it's very well done. Its production is great, and I think the only issue I have with Moldova, and it's something that almost contradicts ourselves, but for me, the problem with Moldova is that it's such a national pride thing it's very tough, I think, for them to win Eurovision with that. Although I think they're still going to do incredibly well.
Yeah.
But I think Finland has a massive, great package with finish, production, the fire.
Everything. It has everything.
Yeah, and great vocals as well. And the violin is live.
It's live, and you can hear it, and it's perfectly done. Yeah. So no concerns about the sound or the violin, because people were commenting like, oh, maybe you cannot hear it. In the arena, you can hear it. Let's see later on when we watch it from
No,
here.
I'm sure it's going to sound well.
It's fine.
By the way, going back 1 second to Georgia, I think there was something weird as well with the vocals. Not about them not being good, but like at the beginning we could hear the girls a lot more than.
And then I couldn't hear her.
Yeah, and then it was like it was completely like it almost sounded like completely off key.
Yeah.
Which I think is because they were backing vocals, but like you were supposed to hear them as backing vocals, not as the main one.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't hear them later well.
Anyway, going back to
Montenegro.
underwhelming. For me, underwhelming.
Yeah, I still think there's something wrong with her singing. I don't know what it is. I think she doesn't probably reach the highest notes, or it's my impression.
I actually think the singing was okay for her, considering that she's dancing, she's moving, like other people. My problem with it actually is the costume she's wearing. I don't know why Montenegro keeps insisting, and it might be her, but this thing that she wears around her neck, which they did last year as well with Nina. It's a dark one instead of a white one, but it's still the same style. But it feels as well like she's dancing like hunched. I don't get it. I don't get that. They could have done so much better with it.
But I think with the singers, not the singers, the dancers, it works really well in comparison to the pre-parties. It's a big change, a big upgrade, and I really like how they complement each other on stage. Let's put it that way.
I think the dance break is good. She dances well.
Yeah.
and they dance well.
Estonia. There was something wrong with the voice, wasn't it?
I think the first note that came out was completely off key. I think literally like the first verse we were all like no, he did it all right.
Yeah, but the rest, it was fine. I still cannot get into the song, but that, again, we're not talking about the songs now. We've been talking about songs for months now. We're talking about staging. I think the staging is good.
I think it's good. I think it's vanilla. It's easy
Too
to
safe.
it's easy to like.
Too
It's
safe to be true.
Exactly.
Too safe to be
It is proper vanilla, and yeah, I don't know what they're going to, how they're going to end up there, but we'll see.
Israel.
I actually thought he couldn't reach the high notes anyway.
I think it's just his voice like that.
Maybe.
The vocals were good. It's not like he went out of tune or out of key.
No, he didn't go out of tune. It just sounded like when he was trying to reach the high notes,
Yeah.
it was more like the backing vocals that were pulling that through, not him.
Yeah. Okay. Again,
It's
let's
fine.
see. Let's see how
It's
it
fine.
goes.
Yeah.
Oh, let's go back to the
Belgium?
the five, not five, big five, the big ones later on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Belgium. For me, it was probably the worst performance of the whole rehearsal.
I would summarize it in one sentence. You can't do a song called Singing on the Ice and not sing. Sorry, Dancing on the Ice and not dance. Correct.
Or singing.
Well, she sings. I think she sings. Her voice is like that, and I think she sings well. But she's singing like that just because she's not dancing. And I feel it's like she's not dancing because she knows that if she starts dancing, she's going to mess it up.
It's
She
too
doesn't
static.
dance.
It's too static.
She doesn't move.
It's static.
Yeah, she needs to move. She doesn't.
I don't like the vocals either.
I mean, last year we were hyping Belgium so much and they didn't go through. This year, I think it's a flop. unfortunately.
I think this one is not qualifying. We're not even doing the predictions now.
No, but I don't see it. I don't see it.
For me, as I said, it's the worst one out of all of them we saw. Lithuania. I really like Leon's voice. The vocals were perfect. It's a simple staging, but I think it's effective because it tells a story, and he can tell the story with his body and his voice.
I actually think it's very artistic. It's well done. It's enjoyable. I think I said when we were doing the predictions that it sort of scared me a little bit. Actually, I found it very artistic and I did enjoy it. What I will point out is, and this is something that happened with others as well, but with this one, it took about 6 minutes to start. And it felt like they were doing a lot of stuff on stage, and I don't know if there was a problem or if it's just that it was planned. It happened with a few of them where they came up with facts about some of the countries that were going to do.
I think they were trying. I don't know if they were trying to fill the gaps or what happened, and they were preparing in case
something potentially
happens during the live show. We'll talk about the hosting and that part later.
But yeah, I think that's the only thing. I think I counted about 6-7 minutes since the end of the first of the previous song, and then Lithuania starting, and I think that's actually too long.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna be changing my scoreboard later on. I think Lithuania is going up
for the final. You mean?
Yeah, top 5. This is my top 5 now. San Marino was not as bad as I expected, actually.
No, I think it was actually okay. I think it's another one that is a little bit safe in the sense that it's almost what you expect out of that song. I don't think there's anything particularly special. Lots of like glass and the glitter.
I think the special thing is Boy George. So that's what it really is different from the other performances, and even Senhit says, "Oh my God, Boy George!"
Yeah, but it's actually Boy George doing Boy George. It's not even like he's surprising us.
Yeah, no.
He looks just like Boy George. He comes out in a throne.
In a throne, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he actually stands up and walks from the throne, but he came on the stage. On the throne. It felt like he was being wielding.
Poland. I think the vocals are amazing, probably the best vocals.
Yeah, probably the best vocals of the night, yeah.
I have to say I'm not convinced about the visuals, but everything else, it's good. And I think she has a lot of charisma because you can see other performances, or other performers who are like very like performative in a bad way, like they told them you have to do this, you have to do that, but Alicia is like a natural in that sense. There's some dancers that you might think, why are dancers in this song? But I think they complement the performance quite well. But I don't like the visuals on screen.
Yeah, I would agree with what's happening on stage is very good. The visuals, especially the ones at the end, she sort of appears on screen, but it definitely looks also like AI. So it's like a very AI version of her, very too sleek. She's beautiful. Like you don't need that.
Don't need that.
So yeah, I think that's the only thing that lets it down. But I think it's a very good song. It's a good performance, even if I don't think it's particularly representative of Poland.
No,
it's something that should probably go through.
Yeah. And Serbia, I think it's the perfect ending for the semi-final. We start with Satoshi, like very high energy, and we start with a completely different genre. I really like the performance. The song is very different from anything else, but for a metal band, they really have like their own choreography. You can see them all like bouncing at the same time. I like it.
So I'm gonna be the one that is probably hated by everyone around, but I don't like it.
It's fine.
I don't like that genre of music. I was never a fan of Måneskin, for example, either. Like, sorry, it's just not anything. It doesn't do anything for me.
But it's all right.
And I think actually, like, I can like rock and so on, but I think when they go into too much of like the makeup and the stuff, it's like, okay, no, you're going out of your way now, and I don't like that. I actually like the ones where they're like proper rough and like, you know, the proper grungy. So that doesn't do it for me.
And then we can comment on the two countries that are qualifying. Well, not qualifying; they go straight to the final. And we saw today Italy and Germany. Italy. I'm worried about the vocals here.
I'm not too worried because he's gonna go through, so he's probably okay.
I mean, you know what I
But-
mean. No,
but-
of course he's going to go through, but that's not what I mean.
I think it feels very, very 90s. It feels
Yeah.
very old-fashioned, but I've been saying this, I think, since
Since the beginning, yeah.
Yes, since he was elected.
My favorite part about this performance is the Italian flag.
Yeah.
I love a flag on stage.
Also, I think there's an element of there's a bride, and we think she's supposed to fall on stage,
Yeah.
and they take off her
Skirt?
her skirt, and then the flag comes.
Yeah, but it's
But-
heteronormativity as well. Heteronormative.
Okay, yeah, but what I
Right.
would say as well is during the performance, I think, although she's supposed to fall down and so on, I think there was actually an issue.
Yeah.
And they couldn't take off the skirt, and there was like a lot of pulling, which shouldn't have happened. Obviously, that's something that they will have to. I mean, they have rehearsed this already, so it's something that they're going to have to fix. Because otherwise, first, she can hurt herself, and second, it's not going to look very good.
And then we got Germany, who was actually going to do another rehearsal when we were going out of the arena. It was as I was expecting. I still not into it because I can see how this performance wants to be Chanel, but not being Chanel. And I like her vocals. She can sing, like properly sing and dance at the same time. But still, it's not my cup of tea. But the rehearsal went really well. I think everything went according to plan, and people at home are gonna like it.
I think if I set her in the same category as Montenegro, for example, I actually think, even though I liked Montenegro at the beginning and maybe not so much Germany, I would actually say that the performance is much better for Germany than for Montenegro, unfortunately. Or fortunately for the German fans. I just mean, unexpectedly underwhelming for one, and I would say almost unexpectedly good for this. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. We can comment also on the show. I think the script, I'm not going to be commenting on the host because it's not their fault, but the script is very plain. It reminds me a little bit of maybe 10, 12 years ago when everything was like, this dinner gala, and you will have the female host, the male host, and they will. We are probably used to like making jokes on stage, be more relaxed, well professional, and this again looked very performative, not natural, and I don't think it will really come across as fun or entertaining for people at home. Maybe they want to put the focus of the show on the songs and the performers rather than on the hosts, but I'm not finding a good balance here.
I think the biggest problem we have as well is that we are coming out of a few years when we had incredible hosts.
Yeah.
So, I'm thinking Hannah Waddingham, who everyone loves, Rebecca in Ted Lasso in Liverpool. Then we had Petra. Then we had last year Sandra and Hazel, who were the best.
Yeah.
And then we come here and we see these, and I have to say, it's like, no. I mean, first of all, as well, I think they still have to rehearse a little bit. They made a few mistakes. They called Moldovia, which was like, come on. They said, "Are you?" and then made us clap instead of saying, "Are you ready?" It was like, "Are we what?" It didn't work.
Yeah, I think it's. I don't think it's the fault that we're coming from very good years. I think it's just. I thought that was the direction of the show, and then I think we're going backwards to 2014 or something like that. So let's see what happens. Maybe we will see some jokes. The final is going to be different as well. But I think they could have worked more on that. And that's the rehearsal that we saw. We're going to be watching again tonight, and we're going to be trying to predict maybe what happens.
Yeah. Do we want to say anything about the postcards?
Yeah, okay. The postcards, they have a 2021 vibe. If you remember, like they were trying to project the performers into some spaces. It looks like they are not even in those places at all, which I don't like. In 2021, we had COVID, which of course we had an excuse for that. What I like about the postcards is that the name of the country is in their native language. That's what I like. Other than that, I prefer last year's. My favorite postcards ever are Liverpool's, but yeah, I'm not convinced either.
Yeah, I think Liverpool's were very good because they had the UK, they had the home country, and they had Ukraine, so it worked perfectly well. I think last year was really nice because they actually took the performers to do things in the places where they were doing the postcards, and it felt. I mean, obviously, it's a performative thing, but at the same time, it felt quite natural, and it was almost like they were trying to give them. Some of them were like trying to go for the vibe of the performer with it. It was perfect. And this year it's like, for me, it's like you're putting stickers. It's quite funny. Like we went on the Vienna wheel the other day, and the Ferris wheel, and you take a picture and you can actually buy it, and it's the picture of you pasted onto something where you were not there, and it feels obviously a little bit fake and a little bit old-fashioned. It's a bit like that, and I'm like, but why are we doing this?
Yes.
And I think they could have learned from last year actually.
I think they tried. Towards the end, it looks a little bit like last year's, but then it's not. But then it's not.
It feels like they've put a sticker of they've actually copied the sticker of the phone and pasted it somewhere else.
Yes.
That's a bit what it feels like.
Yeah.
So it's they are completely disproportionate from the background and so on.
Yes.
The one thing I would say about the first semi-final, what we have seen, because we haven't seen the whole thing yet, is the video at the beginning is
you're gonna cry.
we cried. We both cried.
I spent the first 5 minutes crying.
Yeah.
So
just
prepare
because
Kleenex.
Just because of the video.
Prepare Kleenex. Well, I was ready to cry already when I got into the arena, but
yeah,
then,
but it was very emotional.
But then you're gonna be crying.
So yeah, that I really liked.
Yes. So that's our first impression of the first rehearsal of the first semi-final of Eurovision 2026.
So we'll see you in a couple of days for the second one.
Yes.
Well, maybe tomorrow.
But again, no.
We'll see.
No, just follow us because we're gonna be uploading interviews with all the media creators and see what they think as well.
See you soon.